Good afternoon. Today I am going to start from Political Science, Constitutional Design, and the unit is 3.4 Guiding Values of the Indian Constitution. In this book we shall study, before I should start the 3.4, you should know the meaning of the Constitution. Constitution, it is a set of written rules accepted by the people for living together in a country. In this book, we shall study the exact provision of the Constitution on different subjects. At this stage, let us begin by understanding the overall philosophy of what our Constitution is all about. Now, we have to know what is the main Constitution. We can do this in two ways. We can understand it by reading the views of some of our major leaders or our Constitution, but it is equally important to read what the Constitution says about its own philosophy. This is what the preamble to the Constitution does. Preamble, you should know, it is a main part, it is one of the soul of the Constitution, it is the center part of the Constitution. This is what the preamble to the Constitution does. Let us turn of these one by one. The dream and the promise. Some of you may have noticed a name missing from the sketches of the makers of the Constitution. Constitution is made, but some of the main leaders, their picture is not given in the Constitution, like Mahatma Gandhi. He was not a member of a Constituent Assembly. He was not a member of the Constituent Assembly, yet there are many members who followed his vision. But many of the followers, they all followed the Mahatma Gandhi. Years ago, he had written one book, one magazine, Young India, in 1931. Mahatma Gandhi's book was written in Young India in 1931. He had spelled out what he wanted the Constitution to do. Now here are some lines given here in the boxes. You have to read yourself. This dream of an India that has eliminated inequality was shared by Dr. Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, drafting chairman of the Constitution, who played a key role in the making of Constitution. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had played a very important role in the Constitution, but he had a different understanding of how equalities could be removed. He often bitterly criticized Mahatma Gandhi. He used to criticize Mahatma Gandhi a little bit. In his concluding speech to the Constituent Assembly, he stated his anxiety very clearly. Finally, let us turn to the Jawaharlal Nehru giving his famous speech to the Constituent Assembly at the stroke of midnight on August 15, 1947. So Jawaharlal Nehru, he had given in his speech about this Constituent Assembly at a midnight of August 15, 1947. So here are some sketches, here are some figure of the famous leaders. You have to read, you have to learn also. And the box is given here, and after then you will turn a page number 50. Philosophy of the Constitution, values that inspired and guided the freedom struggle and were in turn nurtured by it, formed the foundation of India's democracy. These values are embedded in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. Now some of the philosophies are written here in this Constitution. They guide all the articles of the Indian Constitution. The Constitution begins with a short statement of its basic values, which we call it as a preamble to the Constitution. As I have told, preamble, it is the center, it is the soul of a Constitution. So here it's written, this is called the preamble to the Constitution, taking inspirations from American model. Most countries in the contemporary world have chosen to begin their Constitution with the preamble. So from American model, some of the countries had taken how to form the Constitution. So in the box, whatever it's written, you have to read yourself. Now some words are given, some important terms are given on page number 51, like sovereign, socialist, secular, all these you have to read and learn very nicely. One in a short note can be asked. Let us read the preamble of our Constitution very carefully and understand the meaning of each of its key words. The preamble of the Constitution reads like a poem of a democracy. It contains the philosophy on which the entire constitution has been built. So preamble, it is the center. It is without preamble no constitution can be framed. It provides a standard to examine and evaluate any law and action of the government to find out whether it is a good or a bad. It is the soul of the Indian constitution. So preamble is being taken as the soul of the constitution. Now come to the next, that is your institutional design. So all these terms you have to learn very nicely, and it can be asked in the exam or a test. Institutional design. A constitution is not merely a statement of values and philosophy. As we noted above, a constitution is mainly about embodying these values into institutional arrangements. Most of the documents called Constitution of India is about these arrangements. It is a very long and detailed document. Now whatever been written, that document is very long, big. Therefore, it needs to be amended quite regularly to keep it updated. Those who crafted the Indian Constitution felt that it has been in accordance with people's aspiration and changes in the society. Those who have crafted this constitution, they have taken all the views how the people have having aspirations and changes in the society. They did not see it as a sacred, static and unalterable law. So they made provisions and incorporate changes from time to time. These changes are called constitutional amendments. Whatever has been changes done with the in a society, so these changes are called institutional amendments. The constitution describes the institutional arrangements in a very legal language. If you read the constitution for the first time, it can be quite difficult to understand, yet the basic institutional design is not very difficult to understand. Like any constitution, the Indian constitution lays down, now here you have to underline this line, like any constitution, the Indian constitution lays down a procedure of choosing persons to govern the country. So in our constitution, not only the written rules, we have to choose those leaders who can govern the country. It defines who will have how much power to take which decision. So here it is written about the constitution, and it puts limits to what the government can do by providing some rights to the citizen that cannot be violated. So in this constitution, whatever been rights given to us, we cannot violate this. The remaining 3 chapters in this book are about these 3 aspects of the working of Indian constitution. We shall look at some key constitutional provisions in each chapter and understand how they work in democratic politics. But this textbook will not cover all the salient features of the constitutional institutional design in the Indian constitution. Some other aspects will be covered in your textbook next year, that is in the 10th class. You will read more detail about it. Now in the red terms, with all the terms are given, kindly read and learn by heart. So next I will give you the question answers afterwards.